You're listening to Podquest, episode whatever we decide it is. You're here with the man, the myth, the legend, Drew Hutcherson.
Hello.
The Pride of New Jersey, Lloyd, and the Mushroom Princess, Kim White, and also your host, who has delegated the intro duties to the Pride of New Jersey. You have your host, Zach Parrish.
Do you like your name?
Mushroom Princess, we can change it.
You can't shake your head on a podcast. No one knows what you're talking about.
You can't change Mushroom Princess.
Okay, if you could just pick one. I'm not going to let you use it since they tried to change theirs too. Yeah, that one's bad.
Mushroom Princess. You're Princess Peach.
I called her Peach the other day and she didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Princess Peach from Mario?
She's the Mushroom Princess.
I know. Is she the Mushroom Princess in Mario?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent about it.
That picture I sent you was funny. Like, the Mario, got captured again, and Link was like, they never learned that only nerds would get.
Did we have topics for today?
I can find a few, just give me a sec.
You can find a few?
Something that I was surprised about in the news yesterday, I think it was on NBC Nightly News, they actually had a report on the goings-on in the Ukraine.
Really?
Yeah, and that was the first major television news outlet that I had seen that had provided any coverage of basically there's several riots and I guess protesters would be the word. They aren't really. There's no civil war yet. I hope there isn't one, but not one yet. To get rid of there are people dying, but on both sides. To get rid of the president Yanukovych. But yeah, the news actually did a story about the revolution for the first time. It's been going on since November was when I first heard about it.
I heard today that the protesters kidnapped a bunch of police officers.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And the European Union had a meeting, I think in Brussels, where they were denying or kind of nullifying a bunch of people's visas so that they couldn't travel.
Mm. Yeah, there's the first real. There have been deaths on the protesters' sides. I didn't know of any on the government side, but the concern is there's one organization that I heard of called Right. I can't remember, but they're worried that it's going to be like a National Socialist Party, like a neo-Nazi organization, and they're sort of providing the muscle on the protesters' side, and they're worried that they might try to take some political power once Yanukovych is out, assuming that he does get out, which is looking like he will eventually.
Something I was talking to Drew about. Ragnarok happens 2 days from now.
Cool.
February 22nd.
Yeah. And for listeners' sake, Ragnarok is the Viking apocalypse. The Norse apocalypse, in which it's heralded by the blowing of Gjallarhorn by Heimdall, the god. And then we'll have, I think it's 100 years of winter, the Fimble winter, where wolves will run free and eat the corpses of the slain, brothers will kill brothers. After that, the gods will fight the final battle against the fire giants, and the world will begin again.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad is that for humanity?
Well, 2 people survived.
Okay.
So,
do we get to choose which 2 people?
No, they've already been determined.
Damn.
Sorry.
Since when?
Do they know?
Since the Norns wove the web of fate.
It's gotta be a fucking Nord, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Norns.
Whatever.
Yeah, apparently some group had this giant horn that they claimed was the horn of Heimdall, and they blew it a while ago. It's supposed to be, it said here, like you said, it was probably 99 days. And 99 days from the day that they blew the horn is February 22nd. 2 days from now, we will enter. What happened? Does anything specific happen on the day that Ragnarok begins?
Fimble winter begins, which is the 100 years of winter.
It's been cold already. Would they say it would get really, really cold? Like all of a sudden?
Yeah, no, I don't know about all of a sudden, but I mean, 100 years of winter, you have snows that are 100 feet high, and women are smothering their children to keep them from freezing to death. Like, if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, where they always talk about winter is coming, the winter that they describe is basically Thimble winter.
Not so bad.
Yeah, I know, right?
We could do that.
Yeah, zombies,
It's not so bad.
war, what's the big deal? We live in the South. Everybody's got guns. You're alright.
They didn't count on that.
Right?
Do all of you guys have guns?
I don't. I got a pellet gun.
I have a BB gun.
Yeah.
And you gotta get strapped.
Well, so I mean, if you get attacked by birds,
Maybe I might be able to defeat them.
right. Yeah.
Are you planning on getting a gun?
Well, I mean, Lloyd's got, like, all kinds of
Mhm.
axes and...
All of my neighbors have guns, so I'm probably okay.
Yeah.
And,
So you would never, like, carry?
I might get one eventually, but I mean, yeah, I got my. I might.
There's cats and shenanigans going on.
That's what you deal with on conversational podcasts that aren't in, like, a radio station.
There you go.
One day,
unless
listener.
it's a radio station with a bunch of
Yeah. One day we'll upgrade to where we're, and everybody has their own mic instead of one just in the middle. Once these get posted, because I mean, like a week after them being posted, well, obviously I'll be ridiculously famous.
Sure. Yeah.
It's too good.
Of course.
Because people want to hear us play Munchkin for an hour and a
You can
half.
afford cups with pieces of felt on the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kim knows a little bit about this one. De Beers, the diamond company. No.
What about?
Why Kim?
Because Kim always knows the weird conspiracy stuff.
Mm.
No.
Not fit for this
I knew about
podcast.
some shady beer stuff, like Anheuser-Busch. They bought Corona, so it's not even. It might still be imported, but it's owned by them. But anyways, there's this documentary called Beer Wars, and there's all these like tiny craft brews that are being sold at stores now, and there was this one that didn't have Anheuser-Busch anywhere on it, and it had this like typical name like Rolling Spring Brewery or whatever. But then these people went to the town in California where the brewery was supposed to be, and like the address for it, where it has it like on the back label, it was just Anheuser-Busch, and they're just like, they own everything, and they like try to squash out smaller beer companies because like the way that the beer delivery system works, like there's kind of like turfs with the beer trucks that are allowed to deliver to certain places. Like I'm pretty sure in Yingling you can't get it in Kentucky because they're not allowed there anymore.
Interesting.
Or at least in certain parts of Kentucky.
Start a smuggling business.
But what was
For real?
What was the diamond beer?
I'm going to show it.
De Beers.
Let me see how
It's a
long
diamond
it is.
company. De Beers.
It's like a 4-minute
What?
video.
De Beers is a diamond company.
Sorry.
Were you wanting to play it?
I
Yeah.
thought he was saying
It's
beer.
the whole thing is interesting. I'm just going to skip the ad real quick.
There's I believe it was De Beers that was in trouble about 10 or 15 years ago over using conflict diamonds that were smuggled across the border into countries that previously had no diamond production. But then all of a sudden they had all this diamond production, and it was basically, if you've seen the film Blood Diamond, it's based on De Beers, I believe.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready.
Puppies love you.
Yeah. My puppy loves me. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't have puppies.
That's something
Nor do I intend to get any.
I brought that up. That was just to explain it real quick, but that's something I've read about before. The De Beers company has a monopoly on diamonds, just about period. They own every diamond mine that you can think of, and they take all the diamonds, and they only let out a little bit at a time. Like they have like stores and stores and stores of diamonds.
Sure. Yeah.
And they artificially increase the price, ridiculous amounts.
Yeah. And now they don't even serve a purpose and utility because we have what are they called? Like carbide blades or whatever. You can like use basically a drill bit that's made out of artificial diamonds. That's just as hard as a diamond, so it doesn't even have the value of being like the toughest, mineral. Or I guess I don't know if it would be considered a mineral. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Compound.
Yeah, sure.
Since we got Kim here, JFK. This is one that I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I'm out.
I feel like I've already said everything I have to say about
I've not heard anything about it.
And
From
definitely
you.
not on the podcast, I
man.
don't think.
You should watch Dark Legacy.
Dark Legacy was okay. You got to watch if you really
Dark
want to,
Legacy's pretty
pretty good. You gotta watch The Men Who Killed Kennedy.
good. I've seen that one too.
9 hours.
No.
Jesus.
Yeah.
9 hours?
Maybe it was just like a.
It-
I remember my
it was done in
roommate
different
played.
parts.
He might have just played me like an excerpt or like a synopsis or something.
They got it was done over a long period of time.
The person that did his obituary, or not obituary, his
Autopsy.
autopsy,
Mhm.
and well, he had 2 done, but he got flown back to Washington, I guess. And the guy that did the official one, that like was probably some government employed autopsy guy, he accidentally burned the autopsy report, so it doesn't even exist.
Whoops.
And I don't know.
That happens. That's a thing.
Right, yeah.
This fell into
I
a fire.
just had this open flame in my garbage can, and the autopsy
yeah.
report just fell in.
So when it initially happened in Texas, all like they're interviewing all these people that were at the hospital, and they're all like pointing to the exact same spot and saying that it was like basically like a front entrance bullet coming
Sure.
in, and then they said that it wasn't, and the flight, they flew his body from Texas back to Washington, and when he had his actual autopsy done, there was parts of his scalp that had been pulled in certain ways and like re-stitched on the flight to like, I don't know.
To what end? Why would they do that? I don't understand.
Because
They did it.
they
Because
just,
who did it? The government did it?
The
Yeah.
CIA.
there's a video.
There's lots of different ideas of who did it.
Well, why would stitching his face back together?
because it would make it seem like the bullet trajectory was different than it actually was.
Okay. So
And
it's sort of like hiding the
yeah,
entry
there's
point.
videos of like the procession of the
parade.
Yeah, the parade. And there's on the president's car. There's like these 2, I think it's 2 agents, and then like you see them look over, and then they jump off right before he gets shot.
Oh no, it's the guys on motorcycles that
Mhm.
were supposed to ride directly beside the president
Yeah,
at all
but
times.
there's also these
And they
little,
hold back.
there's these standing things on the sides of the cars, and there's 2 guys standing on the cars, like it's like a little platform on the outside of it, and there wasn't any security for the whole city. Like they interviewed this guy that I think he used to be in the CIA, and he was saying that like pretty much every presidential parade or visit, there's always like security along the whole route, and there's like, you know, like snipers basically standing in all the windows and everything, and there's video of the parade, and like all these windows in this random, they asked for no security along the route, and there's all these windows that are open in these buildings that you can see on the video, and the guy's like, that window would have been closed as soon as we got here. There wouldn't have been like, they would have like scanned all the buildings and stuff, and they just like told them not to do that. And then there was like some female spy, I don't remember who she was, but she it was in Dark Legacy, and she was talking about how a bunch of these other agents had a meetup in like some hotel room, and they were like handing out guns and stuff and like maps of everything, and she just like dropped out and was like, I'm not going to do this. And then it sounds like crazily rambling now, but if you saw it all together, it's just like, what the fuck.
The Men Who Killed Kennedy is 7 hours and 15 minutes. I was wrong.
What?
But that it's made up of a bunch of different documentaries, so you've probably seen a couple different parts of it. But
plus a lot of them kind of like overlap each other, but
Yeah.
they're all interesting.
that one covers all the different. It covers different topics in each one of them, and the one was about Lee Harvey Oswald, and Lee Harvey Oswald does have there are records of him being in the CIA, and there are records of him being flown to Russia and staying there and becoming a communist. I'm doing air quotes right now, because they said that he was, in the documentary at least, they said that he was part of one of the plots to kill Castro, and they were going to send him to Russia, make him this big, make him out to be a communist, have him come back to America, pass out communist literature on the streets, make him really seem like he's legit, and then he's supposed to go down to Mexico City and then go over to Cuba to get close to Castro and assassinate him. He said that didn't work. Something happened, that didn't work out, so they used him as a scapegoat for the whole thing.
I'm so far beyond the... I'll let you go first.
When John F. Kennedy's brother, I don't remember which one, but he was in a room when with a bunch of other people when he found out that his brother had been assassinated, and he said, "They finally killed my brother." And he said "they," as if, I don't know. It's kind of like picking and choosing, but I mean,
Right.
it kind of implies that like he already had an idea of what was going on, and that he knew that it was
An
a group of
ongoing
people.
thing.
They thought it was. I'm so far beyond it being a conspiracy theory for me because, like, there's no doubt that it happened, but I'm looking at. I don't think that it was a good idea, but I can see the reason. Like, they had a guy who didn't want to go to war. You had to get rid of him. Just like John Lennon. You got a guy who's preaching to the world about peace. You have to kill him. You don't have a choice. If he wouldn't have died, it would have been an uprising that America would not have been able to stand normally. Like, it makes sense that John Lennon, as sad as that makes me,
Yeah.
and the same would not that it really changed that much, but I mean, some people have to die. It makes sense the CIA would kill him. I don't think there's all these hidden things like.
The only reason that they have to die, in my opinion, this is just opinion, the only reason that they have to die is so that the rich people who make their living off of stuff like that, off of war and off of being able to exploit people, it's so that they can still make the profits that they're used to and still maintain their control.
You got a guy with missiles that he would rather negotiate with and kill.
Well, they do it to every anybody who comes out.
There is profit in war. I understand what you're saying.
Preaching peace is the most dangerous. As if you're a big public figure,
Maybe
is
the gym was a bad idea.
if you're a big public figure, is the worst thing you can do. Jesus got killed. Gandhi got killed. Lenin got killed. MLK got killed.
John Lennon, we'll say.
Yeah.
Lennon, there's an important distinction
Yeah.
between those
L-E-N-N-O-N.
homophones.
Yeah. John Lennon got killed.
But
Gandhi, Jesus.
you have to realize
MLK.
what war does for a nation. I mean, look at World War II. That was very profitable.
Yeah,
Oh.
it got us out of the Great
We needed that. We needed world as horrific as it was.
disagrees, listener.
I do disagree.
I think that World War II, as un-American as it sounds, was a necessary. And I guess I can say that because.
Why would that be un-American? We were attacked by Japan.
Well, yeah, But
Why
I mean,
were we attacked by Japan?
Yeah,
Why were we? Why?
because we had an oil embargo against them. Yeah,
yeah.
Japan did some terrible stuff.
yeah. They committed genocide in Korea.
Yep, which is absolutely terrible.
But then what we did to even American citizens that were Japanese after that
The
is
internment camps.
there were there were even some in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're blameless. but I'm saying
They were
that it
basically
happened.
like concentration
But those
camps.
people that you're talking about, like I'm
people?
considering them the people that ran those camps and everything.
That would be our government.
Well, hold on.
They were U.S.
I'm
government
losing
internment
audio.
camps.
I
They're
feel
the ones
like-
that had the authority to do so.
I know, but I feel like it goes way deeper than that. Like than the hate of the Japanese.
What?
What do you mean?
Like
Do you think that it was validated because they were worried about spies? Because there were people that were like second generation Americans that were like born in California that may have not even spoken Japanese. That
it's so hard for me to speak on the matter because I don't want to be the odd one out. But like
I don't even know you.
I'm the first person to say that certain acts like that are necessary in certain governments, and I'm an advocate for overseas torture and things like that. Maybe not so much waterboarding.
Overseas torture?
Yeah.
What's an
You're
example?
in law school?
I know. That's the thing. It's always been kind of fickle with me. Like
What do you think is
trying to
good that's accomplished with it, just in general?
information gathering. I
Oh,
think it's the best
But
way.
do you think that information is reliable if it's coerced under pain of torture?
That's the thing.
Because I could get you to say anything.
Exactly.
Let me do anything to you.
It's so. But without torture, No, go ahead.
For one of the Podquests, I'm willing to let you guys waterboard
I would
me.
never do that to anybody.
I'm willing to go.
You want to be waterboarded?
I don't want to be
You know
waterboarded.
you die, right?
You
You
don't
don't die.
No, you don't.
It's simulated drowning.
It's
That's what
simulated
they
drowning.
call it.
I'm willing to go through it to see what it's like.
No.
So when they stop
I
your
would
heart
never do
and
that.
resuscitate
You're
you.
being such a mess.
We're gonna make a mess. Oh, that's what you're worried about. Not me going
Okay,
through
so when your
torture?
heart stops and they resuscitate you, we're not classifying that as dying, correct?
It happens sometimes, but the point of waterboarding isn't to kill the person.
I know,
It's
but that's like not even like if this happens, like it's probably gonna happen. Like when they waterboard someone, that's like they're probably gonna die, and we're probably gonna have to bring them back. I know the goal is not to kill them, but
Well,
you're not
rather,
gonna not die.
The goal is not for them to stay dead.
Well, yeah,
as it
yeah.
were.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to be waterboarded.
No.
I'll find someone who can do it.
That's fine.
We'll do it on the podcast.
Why do you want to be waterboarded?
Post an ad on Craigslist, like,
Because
Hey, I need someone that's willing to waterboard.
looking for
This is-
somebody.
That ad would be there for like maybe a week
Yeah,
before somebody
someone-
took it up.
I'll waterboard anybody.
Well, I mean, you've
I-
heard of
I want to be
The
real
guy
quick.
that,
the German cannibal.
yeah. There was a guy that posted an ad online that was like looking for somebody to eat him.
Yeah, he told me in great detail about.
Brandy's. I forget his full name, but I'm pretty sure it was like Brandy's or something like that.
Did he get eaten?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Guess
Or rather, no, he wanted to find someone to eat, and there were several people that responded. Have I really never told you this?
No, I haven't. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, he was. He lived in Germany. He was
I'll
a.
get back to waterboarding after this.
Okay. He was in the army for a
It'll
while.
sit
Lived
though
with his
when you
mother.
have
When
the
his
gin
mother
after
passed
the-
away, he inherited the
I'm gonna
home,
put that on top.
and he had. He was on a message board on the internet for cannibals and slaughter victims, and he wanted to find a slaughter victim. He had a lifetime obsession with having a little brother. He wanted to have a little brother that he would eat, and then have that brother inside of him, and the brother would like be with him forever. And so he put out an ad.
Sound logic.
On the message board. This is pre Craigslist, for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy between the ages of, I believe it was like 16 and 30, to be slaughtered and eaten. And strangely enough, he received several responses, turned down a couple, and one was a software engineer from Berlin. I forget his name. But anyway, so the guy came to his house, and by the way, he had like a slaughter room in the house, and he wanted to, or the other guy wanted to be eaten, so, and it was also sexual. It was for sexual gratification. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to have his penis bitten off. So Brandy's, I believe is his last name, tried to bite his penis off, but he said it was too spongy. So he gave up, and he was like, I think you need to leave. So the Berliner, very dejectedly decides that he's going to go home. And so he gets to the train station, and he's like, no, I really want to be eaten. So he calls the guy back on the phone, and he's like, hey, I really think you should try again. Could you please do this for me? I really want to be eaten. And he says, well, all right, if you really want to. Okay. So he comes back, and instead of biting his penis off, he cuts the man's penis off and tries to eat it. Again, it's too chewy. So they decide that they're going to cook it. So he sautés it, I believe, with some like shallots and wine, and so he's cooking it, but he actually I mean, who knows how long you're supposed to cook a penis, right? A human penis. So anyway, he burns it, and so they can't eat it. He cuts it in half so they can both have some, but he can't eat it. So the man who's just had his penis cut off, he decides he needs to relax. So he goes to take a bubble bath, or I don't know about bubble bath, but he decides to go take a hot bath to relax. So
Probably a bubble bath.
while he's taking the bath, the cannibal, who I believe his name was Brandy's, he decides that he's going to read a Star Trek novel for a little while. He goes upstairs to find that his victim is bleeding to death, so he kills him by stabbing him in the neck with a knife. He then goes on to butcher the man and eat, I believe it was 30 kilos of human flesh over the course of a year. He would always get out his best china, a fine wine, and made it sort of like a sexual indulgence, And eventually he got lonely, so he put out an ad for another victim.
Mm-hmm.
And a 16-year-old boy from England, reported it to the police. The police investigated, but they didn't find any evidence. I believe he ended up feeling guilty about it, so he confessed. That's the only way they caught him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was put on trial. And by the way, he filmed this whole thing. That's where I'm getting the details from. The journalists were able to see the film. I've not seen the film, but I've heard.
Certainly, that's not out.
No, it's
I was
not.
going to say.
But the journalists have been able to see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what was I? Where was I?
Eating.
He got reported.
Oh, in Germany, they couldn't decide whether or not it was murder or not because the victim was complicit, and not only that, but he urged the killer to slaughter him.
And they can't decide if that's murder?
Well, it's not. It's manslaughter
Oh, that's true.
because there's no,
Is that what he went down on, manslaughter? He could have gone on
Actually,
murder.
originally he was convicted guilty of manslaughter, and he received a sentence of, I believe it was 14 years, and he was going to get out in 7 on good behavior. I don't know that for sure. But anyway, so in Germany, it's legal for the prosecution to appeal a guilty verdict for another charge, and they appealed for a murder charge. And he was sentenced to life in prison.
Good.
Oh, actually, the funny thing was when he was sentenced for manslaughter, he was they were like, okay, well, we'll give you 14 years, but you have to promise you'll never eat anybody again. And he goes, okay, I promise I'll never eat someone again. And they're like, okay, 14 years. So then they obviously appealed the guilty verdict, and he got sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murder.
They made, well, I thought of a couple things while you were talking.
There's movies about it, by the way.
I'm sure that there are.
Is that they recently passed a law, I think it's in Belgium, since, I think 2002, it's been...
I'm sorry, hang on just a second. Also, cannibalism is not illegal in Germany, or wasn't at the time of the trial.
It might be
sorry,
now.
go ahead. Yeah, I'm sure it is now.
Hey, Lloyd, will you dim that light?
Yeah.
This conversation's too
But
dark to
in
have
Belgium,
bright lights.
Just recently, there was a law passed, since 2002, people over the age of 18 can request assisted suicide.
Yeah.
But within the past couple weeks, they've made it so that children can too if they're suffering from terminal diseases, and their parents give consent, which is interesting.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But also, have you guys heard about that guy that was stalking Bjork?
No.
Oh man, he filmed this it was over 30 hours. It's a video of him, and of him talking about, because he killed himself at the end, but he's basically kind of getting everything.
In the video?
Yeah, he's getting everything out and talking about his views on all of his philosophies and everything, and also about Bjork. But he also filmed himself assembling it was an acid bomb letter thing that he sent to her house, but it got taken out of the mail before it got sent to her. But anyways, it's this really long video about him talking about his obsession with Bjork and his life philosophies.
So he wanted to take her with him when he killed himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically it. But it's really crazy. I feel like I read about it pretty recently, but I remember seeing some videos of this guy, and he was just a crazy fan. But it's kind of interesting. She moved after all that happened because it really bothered her, and it was just, man, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to think of you're videotaping yourself, and it's well, I've got to say everything on this if I'm gonna say it ever, because at the end of it he kills himself on the camera.
Dang.
We've been talking about cannibalism for a while now.
Yeah.
Sure.
We were going to talk about waterboarding again.
I'm going to transition back into that if that's all right.
Let me hold on. Let me scan my brain, make sure I didn't have anything else about cannibalism.
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
There's something on the same topic. It's actually, I don't know if this is still the case, but I believe it was the case when I was in high school. You're still allowed to legally duel to the death, and it was either Paraguay or Uruguay, as long as both duelists are registered organ donors. Yeah.
Well, that's not far-fetched. I'm pretty sure I've heard that. So it probably is still a thing. Since you're 100. So it's probably still a thing.
Yeah, I'm very old. I'm a
You're
centennialist.
what?
26, aren't you?
I want to hear Kim's guess.
I was going to say 26 or 27.
Well, that's not fair to say the same thing.
I know how old you are.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I'm 26.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not that bad.
No, you're not old. Because you make a big deal of it.
That's
so
true.
I always like
True.
to.
I do, because I feel...
Have you found any gray hairs yet?
No, not yet.
That's good.
You're not even in your 30s yet, so you're still in your prime. So
Some
it's
people
okay.
start graying really early as well.
That's true. Some
I
people
kind
gray
of
at
would like to gray
19,
early
18.
Because
Or go bald.
listener doesn't know this. Listener doesn't know this, but I have long hair. And I would like to. I'd like to look like Gandalf at one point in my life.
Oh yeah.
But
Is that what you're going for?
Unfortunately, I don't have a beard.
I want a beard. So
I can't
bad.
grow a beard.
I want a big Weber beard.
Me too. Weber is one of our coworkers, listener, and he has a luxurious beard. I would call it luxurious. Would you guys
Does
agree
Weber
with
listen
me?
to this?
I don't know. Well,
He
no
will
one
one
listens to
day.
it.
We're gonna get
This
him on here
exists.
one day because he used to be a radio host.
He said he was going to come to this, and he also said he was going to go to Sam's.
Yep.
with
I,
us.
I would like
What?
to. I would like
He
to
said he
go
was
on
gonna come to the
record
podcast?
though, and I would
Yep.
like to get a consensus.
You've
on
talked to him about
whether
the
or not
podcast?
Weber's beard
Huh.
can be classified as
Vaguely.
luxurious.
I think it is, just in its fullness.
When we do the introductions, we'll do everybody, and then when we get to Weber, he'll just rub his beard on the microphone.
Okay, but for
That
the
was
record,
Chris Weber and
the
Chris
record.
Weber's beard.
Is Weber's beard not luxurious?
Yeah, luxurious is a good
There you
word.
go.
It's so
Okay,
full.
listener, now I feel like you have a perfect mental image
Now,
of this man.
I did just give the signal for 10 to 15 minutes. We've spent 5 talking about Weber's beard.
I want to real quick cover a few more things.
Sure.
Cannibalism. I took a psychology class at Ball State, and what's it called? They one of the things that we talked about was cannibalism, and everyone in the class was like, "Cannibalism's bad. Cannibalism's bad." And all I did was
Intrinsically?
play the devil's advocate because we talked about the German guy that you just talked about, and
Yeah.
I said, okay, let's say you have one of those indigenous cultures where part of their culture is if someone dies, you eat them out of respect.
Sure.
It's like, how do you tell them that that's bad, and how do you convince them that that's bad when that's something that they've grown up with, believing that's a good thing, and the only reason that we believe that it's bad is because it's something that we've grown up with thinking it's a bad thing. And the whole class, including the teacher, looked at me like I was a cannibal. I was like, and the whole class got silent. I was like, I'm not a cannibal. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How do you?
I mean, the concept it's called cultural relativism.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, there is no morally objective reason
No.
why cannibalism is bad.
Maybe-
You could argue that there's a morally objective reason why murder is bad.
Yeah.
Because,
but if it's a situation like that,
Yeah, but I mean, if the person's already dead, and it's like, okay, well, do we bury
or if
him?
they even consent to like, I want you to eat me.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the age of consent, if there was such a thing for having
pretty
somebody else
high.
eat you, it should be like 20.
Well,
I feel
if
like
you're
16
already
is-
dead, I don't see why
Yeah.
it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't
what
matter.
your age
'cause
is.
you're
Could
not
you
gonna
like
know.
put
A
that?
corpse is a corpse, regardless of its
Could you
age.
put, like when
Or-
you register to be an organ donor, can you just put that? Like you register to be a meal?
Cannibalism's illegal in America.
Thanks. But I'm talking about like if it were legal.
That would
Just
be an
put that.
I
interesting
would
thing.
assume.
Register to be a person that, like, I'm willing to be eaten.
Can be.
Would you guys do that?
I don't know.
It depends on, would
I
they eat
wouldn't
all of
mind.
me?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm dead. Why would
Yeah.
I care if you eat me or
They
not?
eat all of me?
I don't care.
You can eat
Find
every
someone
part of me,
eating my
but not my
thighs.
balls. You can.
Your eyes? That's what you draw the
Yeah.
line at?
Yeah,
What about your
eyes.
penis or your butthole?
Oh, they can eat that if they want.
Okay.
I mean, if that...
If Zach dies, we're going to share his butthole.
I'd rather not.
Over an ice Chianti.
Have you ever heard that pig rectum is
Yeah.
actually
It's like calamari.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but you have to, I believe you have to boil it first so that it expels all of the waste.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be some
They
dirty
had a
water.
blind test where they gave people both parts, and like one of the guys was eating the pig rectum, but it's like deep fried,
Yeah.
and the other guy was eating calamari, and they both thought they were eating calamari. And then like they interviewed.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, "This is definitely calamari."
I love calamari.
Maybe
Me
you
too.
had pig rectum
Maybe.
because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Calamari's good.
Yeah.
Pig
That's right.
rectum is apparently pretty
Well, I mean, it's
Would it-
that's
would-
it. I don't
I
care
wonder,
what it
though.
is a part of any animal. If it's good, I'll eat it.
I wonder though.
Yeah.
I wonder if would they look similar? I wouldn't think that a rectum would look similar.
Everything
to,
looks similar when it's deep fried.
That's
Yeah.
true.
but not.
That's what
I mean,
the
the breading
servers
comes
said.
off of calamari pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then plus
gosh.
you have like the little.
Where can we go
baby
eat some fried
octopus.
calamari?
Man, Maggiano's downtown has really good calamari.
Yeah.
Why can't that be a Podquest?
It's
Right.
Do you know?
Joe's
like,
Crab
it's on
Shack
West
has it
End.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where's there a Joe's?
There's a Joe's in Nashville. unless
It's really
new.
fancy.
There used to be one
I
at
went in
Rivergate.
there
There
once
isn't
with
anymore.
My family,
No,
and
that was
it
years
like
ago.
a football game or something, and we were wearing normal clothes.
Because nobody in
And
Rivergate could afford
everybody
it.
was like really dressed up, and it was just kind of.
Who's
awkward.
really dressed up?
At Maggiano's, it's kind of like a dress-up place.
Yeah.
But we weren't aware when we went.
Oh, okay. Was there a dress code? Did they like?
No, like they
refuse your
still
service?
served us, but it was like.
Did you hear about Justin Bieber? I'm sorry to bring him into
No.
this podcast.
Does it have to do with
about
He got
getting-
slapped like a bitch
by whom?
by a
That's awesome.
by a basketball player for the LA Clippers, I believe is the term.
What did he say?
He was at a Starbucks.
Was he being a bitch?
Well, yes. He was at a Starbucks. I believe he's also arrested for
DUI.
assault. No, for assault, I think. Anyway, but the DUI was a thing as well. But anyway, so he went to a Starbucks in LA, and he didn't have a shirt on, and he was drunk or whatever. He was under the influence of some substance, and he went in, and the barista, I assume with some degree of pride, denied him service for not having a shirt on, and Beebs decided that he was going to get...
It's the Beebs.
The Beebs decided that he was going to get, lippy with this guy and was saying that, like, his bodyguard was going to kick his ass or whatever. And this player for the Clippers came over and got in between them and was like, look, you need to get out, you're being belligerent, you're not wearing a shirt, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably using a lot more flowery prose than what he actually said. It's probably like, get the fuck out or whatever. But anyway, so Bieber got more like belligerent, and so the guy ended up. He probably pushed the basketball player, and the basketball player slapped him, and he fell to the ground, and he sort of like shuffled out the door in shame. And one of an onlooker said that he looked like he was crying when he left.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it made my day.
There is a petition to get him deported back to Canada,
Yeah.
and it got
signed.
1 million signatures,
Yeah.
so they're actually having to like.
The White House at least has to respond to the petition.
Yeah.
I hope they send him back.
Can I
I
say
hope
my,
so too. They don't even have to send him back. All they have to do is revoke his visa, and he's
Yeah.
as good as gone.
Yep.
Can I say my waterboarding thing? Then we can go back to
Sure.
Bieber.
Well, we've only
Oh,
got a few
I'm
minutes
done
left.
talking.
3 minutes?
No. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
As of right now, 10 minutes.
Okay. I am willing to be waterboarded, not because I'm a glutton for punishment or anything, because
Masochist.
Do you have a gimp suit? You have a gimp suit, don't you?
It's a good-
That's unrelated.
You don't
Let's
know what
move
a
on.
gimp suit
the
is?
black
I mean, I
leather
know what a
stuff.
gimp
We'll have to return
That's,
to this. Anyway,
they wear that
continue.
suit.
It's one of the things that I feel semi-passionate about. I think that
Being waterboarded?
waterboarding is torture,
Oh, okay.
and I've seen a few people get waterboarded. Christopher Hitchens was one of them. I'm sure
Yes.
you know who he is.
Yes, I do.
And did you see
Rest
his
in
waterboarding
peace.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'd be willing to go through that just so I can speak with confidence on the matter, whether it's torture or not.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to. It's not like I want to be waterboarded. I'm willing to go through that.
I understand and I
so I
appreciate
can
that,
be
but
the
I would
advocate.
never do it to you.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'll find someone else.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I would like to do it on the podcast. I think that'd be really interesting. I think it would be a good boost for the podcast too. There's just podcasts. where
If you
this guy
die,
is
we will all go to jail.
I'm not
You realize
involved
that.
in this.
Yeah.
Then you won't. Then you shouldn't be here.
I won't be.
Or know about it.
Yeah.
What?
And
What
right
happened?
now-
I don't recall anything. I'm
And then they'll
drunk.
play this back.
What?
Yeah. No charges should be pressed against anybody.
You
except
can't
for
not
myself.
press
It'd be-
charges
it'd
on
be a
manslaughter.
Suicide, brother.
Well,
That reminds me, Jack Kevorkian.
You have
Did
to go pretty. Hold on. You have to go pretty crazy on waterboarding
Dr.
to
Death.
kill him. You can, because a lot of it. I watched a few videos of people being waterboarded the other day, and they pour the water for 15 seconds, and you get 30 seconds off. 15 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So the only way that I would die is if it was a whole lot of, like you'd have to go pretty heavy to kill somebody.
You'd probably pass out before you actually die.
Yeah.
Well,
And
then
with
wake
Christopher
up.
Hitchens,
Or
he
him.
had 2 metal bars in his hands, and when it became too much, he was able to drop the bars, and that he had a safe word, or if he dropped the bars, then
it's hard to have a
everything
safe
stopped.
word when you've got water.
Yeah, but dropping something that way he can immediately end it.
Yeah.
And I would definitely do something like that. But I'm willing to go through that.
How would we do
Doesn't
that
seem
on the
bad.
podcast?
15 seconds in the water and 30 seconds out.
It's not
15 seconds
in
of
the
drink.
water. What it is they drape
like a
a cloth
pitcher.
over your face.
You
and
lean
then they-
backwards at an angle where your head is below your feet. They drape a cloth over your face and they pour water on top of the cloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
You
you're
have to be
inhaling
blowing
water.
it, or try to be
Which is
blowing out
drown.
the whole time.
I'm sure I would be done within 10 seconds. I wouldn't be able to, but I'd be willing to go through that just to see how it feels to be able to speak with
I will not
confidence.
do that to you. I will not be present while
I don't know.
occurs.
Actually, it doesn't sound that bad. Now that I'm with you. I'm not.
He's only going to be drowning for 10 seconds, guys.
Exactly. It's not that bad.
Nope.
No. Hold on. Wait. I would do it. Go
Is
through
this
it,
the
not
gin
do it
talking?
to you.
I feel like this is perhaps the gin talk.
No, you know what? These
I don't
podcasts,
know.
it's always the alcohol talking.
How about no gin on waterboarding day? And I will.
Except
What if we waterboard him with gin?
Gin boarding.
That'd be expensive.
That would be rather expensive. What
Good
was I?
beefeater.
I
Beefeater's
had
cheap.
an idea.
Right?
I was going to
Put a
say
bucket
something.
under your head so we can collect it.
Yeah.
We have officially reached
we'll
the
finish
drop,
up.
I think.
Shots.
I think-
It's fun when we water.
I think when we hit gin boarding, we hit the drop.
I feel like that is probably the case.
Yeah.
I feel
Pretty
like
close to the
hit the
end.
drops.
maybe
Somewhere-
deep frying a penis.
Yeah.
Not deep
No.
frying,
Oh,
I
but
have
that
a
was
deep fryer.
related to the
Yeah.
Well, I have
Yeah.
seen this, but I'd rather not
Deep fry
make
it?
that
A deep
combination.
fryer's.
I will be waterboarded. I will not allow you guys to deep fry
Oh,
my
that
penis.
reminds me. We talked about this earlier, but it didn't make it into the podcast. Maybe I'm stealing thunder from Vice, but I doubt seriously that we're much of a contender for.
Don't
Vice.
speak that.
Anyway, so
We'll
Vice
one
has
day.
a documentary coming on called The Last Member, I believe is what it's called. But it's about I think it's 3 men, 2 Icelanders and 1 American competing to get their penis added to the Penis Museum in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Reykjavik, can you explain the museum real quick?
Yes, I was about to. The museum is they have 1 sample of a penis for every species that lives in Iceland. They also include whales, and as small as a field mouse, as big as a whale. I had thought that they already had an example of a male penis. Maybe it got removed. I don't know. But anyway,
A human male penis?
yes, a human penis. Yeah, I'm sorry. They have these 3 men that are competing, 2 Icelanders and 1 American. And I'm pretty sure that the
What other kind of penis is there other than a male penis?
Yeah,
no, a
exactly.
human male
it's like an
penis.
oxy.
so there could be a male
Not
anything.
an
Yeah.
oxymoron. The opposite of an oxymoron.
A female penis. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so crap. What was I saying?
They're competing.
Yeah, the 2 Icelanders are really old, so they were just gonna donate the penis whenever they died. So the only race was to see
I mean,
who
they're
died
not using
first.
it anyway.
But of course, right.
Oh,
But
old people are crazy.
I don't know about that. But anyway, so the American guy, he was like, "Oh, fuck that! It's gonna be an American penis." And so he got a American flag tattooed to his penis, and allegedly, I don't know. I've not seen the documentary. It's not been released yet. I've only seen the trailer. But actually, it's not even. It's going to be released in theaters, and so I think that's a Podquest right there. First of all, second of all, so he got the American flag tattooed to his penis, and then he was going to have it removed and donated to Penis Museum. There you go.
And to end it, I got another point on what you. Oh crap! What was it? Oh, never mind. I had a really good one to end with.
Save it for the next one. We're doing it Tuesday.
I don't remember it.
Well, next Tuesday's board game podcast.
Board game podcast?
Podquest.
Blah blah blah.
Podquest.
We've started doing it where it's like
Crest anymore?
No.
it's
No,
one
We shall never mention that again.
one podcast a week
Most
will
of us don't
be
even work there anymore.
a board game podcast where we play a board game and record it.
I
And
wouldn't
then,
say board game, any game.
well, okay. And then the next one will be that's right here.
Oh man,
Kim?
I have a super
Just-
fun game.
But don't you save
It's
it
a
for the
drawing
other
game.
podcast.
It's a drawing game. It's really
Oh
good.
no, I can't draw.
No, but you don't have to.
That's the part of the fun.
Yeah. 'cause,
Okay.
like-
Anyways,
Okay. I'll explain.
this has been Podquest whatever episode
3. maybe
3. We're going
4.
3. No, it's 4.
Okay.
I think it's 4.
It's
29.
Podquest. This is Podquest.
Yeah. We will see you guys next time.
Where
Bye,
we
guys.
play, I believe the board
Bye,
game set up for
listeners.
next Tuesday. The
Settlers
man,
of-
the myth, the legend will not be
Yes, I
here
will
for
not
that
be here for
for that Podquest. He will miss Settlers of Catan.
But the bird whistles will be here.
I have them with me. Can
No,
I-
no, not on the. No, you will fry my ears.
All right.
They're very loud, listener. Suffice it to say, they are very loud.
All right.
Domestic
You've
dispute.
listened.
Somebody.
We have to go
one of-
tend to a
one of
domestic
One
dispute.
of Zach's neighbors is a liar. This just in.
Can I end the podcast real quick?
You may, not with the bird whistle.
No, I'll end it with a deep voice.
Okay, go ahead.
You've been listening to Podquest. Everybody, have a nice day.